So the intake process is an essential part to your hypnotherapy session. Some people just send their clients an intake form and ask them to fill it out. Yet, I often wonder whether they're missing the richness of detail that will come from a thorough consultation process. Now, a form may cover it from an ethical perspective, that you're gathering essential information, but what you're missing out on is noticing your client's response to key questions. Now, of course, you can get the basic details, their name, their address, even their doctor's contact details by form in advance if we wish to save time. However, moving on from that, getting details of what the issue is, how it affects them, what they would like to achieve from the sessions, the goals, and scoring and things like that. All of that is really important, and it's a part of the therapeutic process. And a lot of people say the therapy starts when the person goes into hypnosis. I would disagree. I would say that the therapy starts the moment you start talking with them. Now, some hypnotherapists say to me that, well, I don't actually take an intake process. I just work content free. I let the client work on whatever their issue is and I don't need to know about it. However, clients are uninformed to some extent relating to hypnotherapy, so they're not going to have the training of the hypnotherapist. They may be working on the wrong aspect of their problem. It could actually intensify their problem, or it could have no impact, which means they're less likely to come back and the hypnotherapist won't know that they haven't been successful. Getting key information really will help you focus and tailor your treatment approach to best suit your client. Now, I often find out not just about the problem from the client, but things to do with their lifestyle, the wider picture, because this may have influence. Perhaps they're coming with stress. It may be that it's a work-related stress issue. However, it could also be they have a turbulent home life, that they have a poor diet, they have alcohol consumption that's a little bit higher than is recommended, they might smoke, they may have a whole load of other things going on, or alternatively, they may have a vast number of resources and strengths available to them that I can then utilise more effectively in the hypnotherapy session to really help support their therapeutic change. Finding out about hobbies is really useful because, again, you can incorporate this and make the session work with them more real, more relatable to them. And also finding out about fears or dislikes. If they don't like walking downstairs or they've got a fear of heights, perhaps you're unlikely to use a technique that puts them at the top of a mountain or on a precipitous ledge somewhere. Some therapists take a case intake that goes practically back to the person's birthday and their childhood, their relationships with school friends, and a lot of detail. I would suggest, especially at the start, only take the key information that's needed. Just as a researcher isn't going to ask questions that aren't relevant to the research, as a therapist, avoid asking particularly intrusive questions that have no bearing on the current issue. Because what can happen is that this not only wastes session time, but it can build resistance with the client who won't understand why you're asking all of this seemingly irrelevant detail. And remember that not all clients are good at sharing information. It may take several sessions for you to elicit the bigger picture. It's almost like a client has layers, like an onion. As you take off the layers, you get to see what's underneath. And as the client builds confidence in you as a therapist, they're often more comfortable in sharing the deeper, more personal thoughts and issues. This helps with gaining deeper insight and also with reframing, getting new perspectives on current and past situations. Now, the consultation process is another key element in building rapport. It's showing to the client that you're taking an active interest in their situation, and it helps to build into the therapeutic process the fine detail that will make you more successful. By a client feeling that they've been heard, that they've been understood, they're also more likely to share information with you that then adds to the depth and the quality of your information and making you better able to formulate and give them appropriate treatment. Another key part of this is the goals, setting of the goals, formulating the goals with the client, and it gives you a direction for your therapy so that you both know where you're heading towards. So rather than just working on stopping doing something, such as stopping being anxious every time you see a car pull out in front of you, it's about developing strategies so that you can be more confident in your driving ability, more able to focus, more able to read the road ahead. So instead of coming away from something, being less anxious, less scared, less bothered, it's about moving forward to what you actually want to achieve. This makes it highly solution focused and an effective way of conducting therapy. Perhaps it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. The information that you take in your intake form is confidential. It's not something that you're going to discuss with other members of their family, with your friends down at the pub, or even necessarily with your supervisor, because they don't need to know the name, the address, the contact details of the person that you're working with. They simply need to effectively supervise you by understanding the key issues and how you've worked with the person. It also goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, please restrict your work to within your field of competence. It may be that during the intake process, other issues come to light that you're not qualified or trained or skilled to work on. This may be something that you can take to supervision and discuss it with your supervisor and together formulate a way forward. But it might also be that you need to refer the client on. So instead of lying or fudging or avoiding the issue, if necessary, refer them on appropriately so that they get the best possible care for them. Perhaps you'd like to find out more about how to conduct a really good consultation and an excellent intake process. Well, this is something that we cover in detail on our Hypnotherapy Diploma course that we run several times a year. Feel free to have a look at our website hypnotc.com for more information. Thank you for watching.